line. What's going to happen here is, let's just do it from this perspective. Steve, drop your hip. My knee's below his hip line. When I try to elevate and sweep, see, I'm sticking with him, but now he's going to block my leg and mount. If I have the hook and my knee in front of his hip line, and we do the same thing. Now he goes to mount. I have the other hook. So you have to make sure you don't need two hooks, but you need two frames. So when we're working the half butterfly, as I create the space to put the first hook in, before we start our offense, have to get the second hook in. Then all we're going to do from here, irregardless of his body positioning, is now we're going to start to engage the hook to lift and create instability and unbalance. But the key here now at this point is this elbow. And can you hold the arm? Yes, but the problem is if he has good hip dexterity, he can balance his way out of the sweep, even if I hold his arm. See? I didn't allow his elbow to get away from me. But you see the vertical angle of his elbow, it creates a natural post. So once we get in here and I have my knee inside and I have the hook, as I engage the hook, I need to bring his elbow over my shoulder. Because that collapses his shoulder. He has no post at that point. Working the hook sweep from the outside hook. Here, a block, move my hip out a little bit, make sure his head stays over my head. That's going to create the space for me to put my hook in. Once that hook is in, bottom knee comes through. Now we're ready to attack. As the hook engages, this elbow comes up. And then follow your partner up. We'll follow up. Sometimes you'll end up in knee cut. In this case, because our hips are close, the closeness of their hips as you're sweeping them dictates how you finish the sweep. And in this case, you'll notice Steve-O's hips are right over mine. So it's only natural if I follow him over, I'll end up in the mount. But we're going to start with this as our entry point and then work from here. Half guard, he's got cross face underhook, a frame to the inside, frame to the outside. As my hip goes out, elbow over the head. You put the hook in. Once that hook goes in, bottom knee comes through. Then from here, they work together. As the hook comes up, elbow comes out. And then we finish right in mount. Okay, I want to start with this one first, then we're going to segue into a couple of attacks with the hook. Yes?
So it would have been your right, once you get that right knee in, that foot went to the mat and helps
Yes, yes.
push off.
Yes,
yeah.
but you'll find, Ted, this is just a little personal perspective here. Once you get this knee in the past, yes, if I don't control this post, I really need to rely on this foot to propel him over. But this principle with chopping this elbow doesn't take much. You still need to put it down, but you won't have to drive as much because you're removing the post. The shoulder naturally just collapses. So they're not moving as far. Have you laid back, Steve? Like this. He's going to put his outside hook in. Inside knee comes in. See this? My elbow tab? Just start to sweep me, Steve-O. Right. See, it's like, but now bring my elbow up. It's far less taxing on the hook when you engage the elbow, and you don't have to move them as far. One of the challenging components of the hook sweep is managing the distance, because it's almost like a throw. If you put a lot of velocity into it, your partner will land in a place where now you got to neutralize those hips as you get up. But by chopping the elbow, they basically fall right in front of you, and you can mount. Make sense? Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah. When you're chopping that, or taking that elbow out, this hand, are you reaching to the lat, or where are you reaching with that hand that you're... No, opposite hand. The one, you're taking the one up with this? Are you, because he's kind of reaching across, are you reaching to the lat, or where are you reaching?
When we get here, Keith, like this,
Yep.
all I'm doing with this hand is just, I'm not really reaching for anything. And the only reason why we're doing this I just have to be mindful. I don't mind a little redirect here, but this elbow just stays here in case I need to cut back and go the other way. So that arm is really not connecting. It's just monitoring that far side elbow. That's kind of like your backup in case you do get some resistance. Okay, we're good? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Drops their hip. The leg that's between your legs, the knee points up. There's no physical way that can't happen. See how the knee points up? Whenever you're half guard and the person drops their hip, put the hook in. You don't have to wait. Now it's important from here to make sure we connect that bottom knee. So we create a little space, a little shrimp out, and put the knee inside the hip line. This is super strong for Steve-O now. But if he relies just on the legs, this post will help me. But if he engages both at the same time as he extends the hook and brings my elbow up, it's gonna be hard for me to hard for me to defend. Then you just hips forward and follow them up. So what I want you guys to do is this. You're gonna start square, and this is a tough position to work from when you're on top. I don't have a lot of, there's some things you can do from here, but I don't like all the space that I'm giving him right now. I'm gonna drop my hip. So just keep that in mind. When you're playing this position from the bottom, as soon as the person drops their hip, put the hook in. It's right there. Then connect that hook. Now shrimp out a little bit, put that knee inside. Now he's ready to do work. Now it's just hook and elbow up. Control the elbow, you end up in the mount, and he has a not only mount but good elbow control as he gets there. Okay? Does that make sense? Any questions? Let's do it from that perspective. 1, 2, 3. Ankle lock. Okay, so what I want to do now is another thing I love about no gi is that you create these interesting dilemmas. You can do this in the gi too, of course, but when you start to lose upper body control, you gain other things. And the dilemma for myself, being on top of my opponent when he secures this butterfly half, is going after, if I'm familiar with all this, I realize that a lot of his attacks now are dependent on controlling my arms. So if I start to disconnect, all Steve-O's gonna do, he's gonna still commit to the sweep for 2 reasons. He's gotta keep me a little off balance, but I want him to make me light on this leg. So the hook comes up, and you see how my leg comes out? Now all he's gonna do is extend the hook, and we're gonna go to single X. Pops the knee in. He can pull my knees this way and go for the straight foot lock. See? Or he can go for the hard reap and just go after my heel. Either way. But the butterfly hook seamlessly can transition you into attacks on the legs if you lose control of the upper body. The minute, personally, the minute I feel this, I personally start feeling like I have to create a little disconnect because I don't want him to control this arm. But even in this case now he lifts and then he just, bam, right there. If my knees are pointing this way, it's natural to just reap. He's got heel exposure right there. He's got the heel hook. He can choose to, or if I want to protect my heel, I have to open my knee to the outside, but now there's a straight foot lock. So those are going to be the 2 attacks we're just going to cycle through. You'll start to make it easier. You're going to kind of feed your partner the butterfly half like this. But I'm kind of bracing off him. I don't want him holding. If he holds me, he's going to sweep me. I kind of back away. He extends the hook, then lets it stretch through. This has to frame to the outside, and the knee inside pops in. And there's the position. I cannot come forward because of this and this. And then it's just a matter, it's either my reaction or his reaction. If we go to the outside, that's a straight foot lock, but you can also reap the knee, see? And the reap is safe because I'm so light on this leg. Everything is posted on here. So he can kind of manipulate this a little bit and finish the heel hook. Okay, any questions? Do we need to see that again? We're good? Awesome, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
You explain to